Hi, this is Bayo, peak performance coach and author. Now, if you're listening to me, chances are you're a leader. And chances are that you fly with the eagles. You're not trying to crawl around with the caterpillars. And although they may be butterflies one day, you know deep inside that you're a leader, either by your internal world or your external world. So what I want to impart to you regarding peak performance and leadership is that when you're trying to get more out of people, it takes a lot more than just, external motivation when you're dealing with people. You want to get more out of these people, but you're trying to understand them, you're trying to work with them, you're trying to find out what makes them tick, what drives them and everything. Well, what you have to understand is that with the environments that we're in nowadays, the culture that we're in terms of the media inundation, the social media, the distractions with the digital devices, and not only that, just kind of a little bit of hopelessness, a little bit of depression, a low-grade anxiety that kind of seeps into people's lives when they're not truly living at their best. They're living what we call a life of quiet desperation. So when you're working with people and you're trying to help bring them out of that and you're trying to get them to a level to where they produce at their best, what you've got to understand is that they have to see it as a new performance. They have to see it as if, of course, you're a leader, you're a coach, but they have to see it as if there's an opportunity for them to have a space to be somebody different. Because see, the person that they are now, that's going through the humdrum, mundane activities, that's sticking to the same level of activity, that's not really ready to break out of the comfort zone, that person is literally in a trance. So what you have to do as a leader is you have to break them out of that trance so that they can embrace this new level of peak performance. So how do you do that? Well, you have to basically give people an opportunity to have that space, first of all, whether it's literally physically an amount of time where you just kind of kick back with the team, you have a little fun, and you kind of open up those dreams, open up those visions, open up those ideas of prosperity, ideas of well-being and travel and vacation and fun, or anything that could possibly motivate them to remember that they do have dreams. And everybody has some sort of hopes and goals and dreams, and even if they don't, they'll see the people around them beginning to do that. So that's the first thing, is to provide that space, to provide that environment to where they trust you, there's a lot of fun, and they feel comfortable opening themselves up, trying to embrace the new visions and new dreams that they could possibly have. Because see, if there's anything I know from working with high performance athletes, working with high performance executives and coaching and training people from all over the world in New York City, is that imagination is going to be a much stronger motivation and pull than just willpower or discipline. Because you can try to enforce willpower or discipline. You can get someone to try to enforce willpower and discipline on themselves. But imagination and vision and their own dream and their own idea, them seeing the possibility of that coming true, oh, that will light everyone on fire just like that. But see, they have to be able to have the space to actually tap into it. And you as a leader, as a thinker, as someone who's listening to this, as someone who's looking for options and ways to perform better yourself, but also to help your team perform better, you are the person that's going to be able to do that. And so you have that conscious ability to design that. So there's a lot more details about how you can do that, but the first thing is to create that space. The second thing that you want to do is basically understand the type of personality of who it is that you're working with. There's the DISC assessment. There's the blue, yellow, green, red. There's the different personality types that are based on, different aptitudes. And there's a variety of ways that you can kind of get an idea of the personalities of your team. But you're going to have a variety of people, from people who are really extroverted and really driven to people who are very introverted and very analytical, to people who are just nice and want to be liked by everybody, to people who just want to have a good time. So you're going to have a variety of those, and I'm not going to go into those in detail right now. But just imagine if you had the ability to understand the type of personalities that are on your team. And you probably already have an innate sense of those personalities, but to have it to a more specific and a more razor sharp way that okay, this person is only driven by having a whole lot of fun and being the life of the party, whereas this person is just, wants to know that they're correct and they're right with everything. So when you're able to do that, you're able to kind of give them different options, because people love options. You want to give them some freedom, some options, some choices to perform in their own best way. And then you can coordinate as far as how productive that would make for the team and the circumstances and the results that you're trying to produce. Whether you're someone who's trying to increase sales at a gym or increase personal training revenue, or you're someone who's trying to sell more insurance, or you're trying to boost the productivity of a network marketing team, at the end of the day, the most important thing is that you know who these people are and you know kind of what drives each of them. And then finally, for peak performance, you have to get control of your own state. And by you being in control of your own state, you're going to learn better how you can help those around you control their state. There's a lot of people who feel like they're just, life is just, it's kind of okay, like they're not excited about anything. They don't get excited about anything. They don't care. They don't seem to care that they're excited about anything. They're not passionate. And that's why one of the things I like to say is that being cool is not really that cool. There's a lot of people who just want to be cool. And because they just want to be cool, what they want to do is really fit in so nobody judges them and criticizes them, and they feel like they're not going to be loved and gain acceptance. So they're just being cool to fit in. So if you're like, yeah, you're trying to get people pumped up externally, but you got somebody over there that, thinks they're just too cool for school and they're just trying to be cool, then what's happening with that person who's so cool and everything, and they don't have to respond to this rah-rah, this pump-up session, or you being in a peak state trying to get them in a peak state. And basically what you have to understand with that is that person that's just trying to be cool, they are kind of governed by the external reflection of others. In other words, they want to be liked, really. They want to be accepted, but they don't want to also be judged and to be ridiculed or made fun of, because for them to do something outside the box, they don't have the internal frame of reference. So with them, what you've got to do is you've got to build an internal frame of reference with them so that they can have permission to actually get excited, to actually have fun, to actually live life on a higher radiant level in terms of opening themselves up and just being real. Just if you're excited, you're excited. If you're mad, you're mad. If you're having fun, you're having fun. I mean, but people try to keep that even keel because they feel like they can't be penetrated. There's those walls that they have up, and they don't want to emotionally give into that because it would leave them too vulnerable. So if you're able to help them build those internal boundaries, then they'll start making the decision. Now, how do you help somebody build the internal boundaries? Well, it's the same thing that I was saying before. Basically, you give them the space, you find a way to help them tap into that vision, and as they're tapping into that vision, they begin to understand more about themselves, you understand their personality, and then you kind of just kind of just give it some time, allow them to have little moments of that, and try to find out what gets them to an emotional state for some other reason. I've seen people who are more passionate. As a matter of fact, outside of my apartment one time in Brooklyn, there was two people arguing so loud and crazy, like ah, wah la 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 la. And I didn't even know what was going on. I'm looking out my window like, man, is this a drug deal that's going bad? Is somebody about to shoot somebody? Like, this sounds crazy. So after the kind of noise settled down and everything, I went to the grocery store. I come back, I went to the grocery store. As I was leaving to go to the grocery store, I talked to the security guard near the entrance there, and I said, what was that all about? These people were just, it was loud, man. Was were they fighting? Was something going on? Was there a problem? He said, nah, man, they were just arguing about Shaq and Kobe. It just blew me away that I've seen people be more passionate about sports and movies than their own financial freedom, than themselves making more money to feed their family, to take care of their wife and kids. They've seen them more passionate, more excited, more pumped up about an entertainment, about a team that will never pay them a check, that will never be there for them when they are sick or hurt, or their kids are sick or hurt. So sometimes we got to get in there and dig the paint a little bit as well, but find out what they're excited or passionate about. If they are passionate about sports and all that stuff, then kind of maybe find a way to bridge that over and tie it in. But those are just 3 tips. Basically, create the space for the people to do that. Find out their personality, and then keep yourself in a peak state and be able to transition them into a peak state. And I guarantee you'll see better performance out of the leaders on your team, and hopefully they'll rise to become greater leaders themselves.